Hey Maud, how's it going?
Hi, I'm fine. How's it going?
I'm doing well, thank you. Good to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you.
How's Eka? I don't see him anymore.
Oh, I think he was fighting with Heidi, and he he doesn't like her, and he quit learning
Oh,
on Kalinga.
oh really? I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
If there's any way I can help him, though, let me know because you're still in these classes. So,
Uh, it's kind of problem about muting microphone for anyone and sometimes that uh, we don't want to we want her to respect each other, to respect other students.
hmm
uh, she blocked me once, and I couldn't join that class because uh, I couldn't hear anything for anyone, and I have to quit that class early than I want to be.
hmm
Yeah,
Well,
and yeah, we complain about it to Colingo, but they said that we should we should raise this problem to teacher in the class and mention about it, but we think it's so annoying.
it's difficult, right? Sometimes it's difficult.
Yeah.
Definitely, Maud, if you feel that way in terms of something that happens in one of my classes, please do let me know. I think that's very important that we should. Everybody in class deserves a chance to speak, right?
Mhm.
Nobody should be taking up all the time or preventing others from sharing their opinions. Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
So if that happens in my classes, please don't hesitate. Let me know. If you have to message me, if you have to Facebook message me after, or even tell me after the class, whatever, it's not a problem for me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah. In any case, so it seems like today, right now, it's a little bit of a of a lull in terms of attendance. When we use the word lull in English, in American English, actually more so. Maud, do you know what lull means? If I say there's a lull right now.
Low,
Uh-huh.
low attendance.
Yeah, exactly right. A lull is a decrease in something. So
Yeah.
it seems we have a lull in the number of students who are joining at this time. So if you don't mind, Maud, let's get started. Is that okay with
Ah,
you?
yes.
Okay, fantastic. So we are going to today actually be looking at contractions.
Mhm.
Contractions in English are constructions that are abbreviated. We have a lot of times in English when we can make bigger words, bigger phrases of two words, let's say, into a one-word contraction, right?
Mhm.
And then in the second part, we are going to talk about something that is very appropriate for you, Thailand's first female prime minister. I personally don't know as much about the story as I would like, so I think it's a great article for you to share your ideas because, um, you know, how is this person seen in the society in Thailand? Is she respected?
No, for me.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, we have a protest in Thailand about we against amnesty bill in Thailand now because she she wants to get her brother back. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Was
her
her
big.
was
Uh-huh.
was her brother Mud? Was her brother also a politician before? I don't know the details or the history.
Yeah, he is a former prime minister in Thailand, and
Oh, okay.
he took a lot of uh, corruption.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
You know, we
And
have. Go ahead, Maud. Go ahead. Sorry.
and we I don't know in English, but we like throw him away.
We
from
overthrew him, or we impeached him. You can say impeach, right? The verb
his,
impeach, or we can say overthrow, or overthrow is more in the case of a revolution. Impeach, or you can say that he abdicated. Sometimes we say that for kings, and for actually for kings we use abdicated, so we wouldn't use it for him. We would say he resigned, right? He resigned. He left. He left because of the situation, right? Or he was impeached, or he was overthrown by the people.
but now he can't live in Thailand, and I don't know. The government should be arrested him, but the prime minister is his sister, and she doesn't want to do that, and she
Yeah.
create the bills to like forgive him his fault and try to return him to our prime minister.
You know, there is a word for this, Maud. I was going to. This is something that is so common in many countries that I'm familiar with, right? When we have the practice of somebody using their power to help their family, right, is called nepotism in English. It's an advanced word, but this is exactly what you're describing to me is exactly a case of nepotism, right? So the son is the president, and the son helps the brother, the uncle, the sister. Everybody get maybe ministerships or governorships all around the country, right?
Can you write it down?
Yeah, it's actually in the chat. Do you have the Colingo chat open by any chance?
Yeah, I have group chat box, but I don't see anything.
Oh, are you on the Colingo group chat or the normal Google group chat? The Colingo one is green. It has a little green box.
Green? Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you open that, you'll see I wrote a bunch of things, actually. Do you see it now?
One moment.
You don't? Okay, sure. Yeah.
It's loading.
Good.
Okay. I see it.
So yeah, at the beginning we were saying lull, and then also impeached, overthrow. We can also say he abdicated, he left, right? He resigned, right? Those are other examples. And nepotism is this idea of using your power to help your family members also get power. Yeah, so nepotism happens a lot in some societies. I'm surprised that this lady was elected. If people, were worried about nepotism, that she still managed to win the election. But it happens sometimes, right? Democracy sometimes does not. Democracy on paper, but democracy not in action, right?
Yeah.
We see that a lot. So we'll talk a lot about that, Maud, actually, and it's great that you joined because I have some ideas now of how we can, structure the class. And in general, the idea that we're going to look at today, contractions, right? Very simple. What are some examples of contractions in English that you can hear, that you can give us? What?
Contractions like can't.
Yeah, can't, right? What is can't? What is the long form of can't?
Cannot.
Cannot, right? Exactly. What about, give me two others.
Isn't.
Isn't, right? Not. And is not. Fantastic. And what about one last one?
Weren't.
Weren't, right?
Not.
Yeah, weren't, and were not. Isn't, is not, right? Can't, cannot, right? So we have tons of these examples in English, right? And many times we use them just like you're using them now. We use it in the form of, if there is the word not, right, then it becomes N apostrophe T, right? Can't, don't, doesn't, shouldn't, haven't, hasn't, right? tons of different examples, right? But we do have other forms, right? What about if we have the contraction let's? What is the long form of let's?
Let us.
Let us, yeah, absolutely, right? So sometimes it's not for not, we actually use it for other things.
Mm-hmm.
What is the contraction for I am? I'm, right? Fantastic. So I'm from California, I'm from Thailand, I'm from Malaysia, I'm from America, right? Whatever the case might be. And then we also have, for example, other types that I would say. What about for will? I will do something. What's the contraction? I'll do something, right? So I'll go to the movies, right? I will go to the movies, I'll go to the movies, right? Many different types of examples like that. And the one other thing also I wanted to stress about this is that we do have examples in which there are some negative and positive, types of contractions. With the negatives we saw, for example, the are not, is not, could not, cannot, right? They become the aren't, can't, shouldn't, couldn't, right? But we also have some forms that are we should be careful, because there are some that may be considered contractions, but just by themselves they're actually confusing, right? So, for example, if we say he'd like to go somewhere, right? Let's say he'd like to go to the movies, right? He'd like to go to the movies. There are actually two types of he'd contractions in English, right? So he'd and she'd, right? Both of them, right? There are actually two. If you just see he'd, you won't know which one it is. If you just see she'd, you won't know which one it is, because we need the rest of the sentence, right? So what is one long form of he'd or she'd?
He would.
He would, exactly. And in this sentence, that's the example that we want, right? He would like to go to the movies. He'd like to go to the movies. What about the other example of he'd or she'd?
He had.
He had, absolutely. So, for example, if we say he'd gotten, he'd received, let's say he'd received a free book. In that case, it's he had received. Right? And in the first example, it was he would like to go to the movies. He'd, right? Any questions on that so far, Maud?
No.
Great. And then one other thing I wanted to mention, right, is when we say, for example, there are some contractions in English that don't have any apostrophes, right? So when we have, for example, what is a contraction of want to?
Wanna.
Wanna, right? And what about for going to?
Gonna.
Gonna, right? So these are so often used in English that they have become contractions that we use in normal conversation. Really, I'm gonna go to the movies, I'm gonna go to the beach, I'm gonna go to whatever situation, right? Could you give us an example, actually, Maud, of a sentence using gonna?
I'm gonna buy new iPhone tomorrow.
Fantastic! I'm gonna buy a new iPhone tomorrow, right? I'm gonna spend a lot of money tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
If you want to buy a new iPhone, you're gonna spend a lot of money, right? So, absolutely, right? Many different types of examples like that. So, one other thing, right? If we use these kinds of contractions, should we use them all the time, Maud, or should we use them in an appropriate way?
I think in conversation we can use it all the time.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, but maybe in the formal speech we cannot use.
Exactly, right. In a formal context, if you're looking at a medical document, if you're looking at something that is a legal document, maybe coming from a judge or coming from the court or coming from the police or something like that, they will not use contractions. They will use the lengthy, the extended versions of the words in all those examples, right? Yeah, fantastic, Maud. Any questions on contractions then?
No.
Makes sense? Yeah. There will be times in the class that we might look at some other types, and when we do, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me as we see more examples, right?
Okay.
So in that case, actually, Maud, I think it's a good time now to transition to this article. I want to see what they actually are saying about this prime minister, and at any time during this conversation, please, please, please stop me if you want me to review any of the words, if you think that there's something that you disagree with, because this is a political topic, right? This is something that you can. I absolutely want to learn from you as much as the English learning is happening. As the English learning is happening, I also want to learn about the politics of Thailand. So for me, it was actually interesting to hear that she's the first female prime minister, and that's what my kind of understanding was like. Wow, this is a great thing for for women in Thailand, but maybe the situation, the reality is a little bit different. So we'll take a look. Let's see. So I'm going to screen share this guy as well. And if we see, so let's see. Can Thailand's first prime minister? So I'm going to have trouble with this pronunciation. Yingluck Shinawatra.
Yes. Her name is Yingluck Shinawatra. Yeah.
Yingluck Shinawatra. Can she heal a divided nation? Right. So that's the question. Bangkok, Thailand. First, you may be dazzled by her gentle smile. But then the obvious question comes to mind. Am I sitting across a true leading woman, or is her big brother actually calling the shots? At Government House in Thailand, I recently interviewed Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra, a woman who has heard those questions and more before. She is Thailand's elected leader, the country's first female prime minister, and, as I found out, ready to fire back at her critics and defend her authority. So far, Maud, any questions on what we see?
I don't know the word dazzled.
Dazzled, right? Somebody is dazzled by something, right? To be dazzled means to be surprised, really, really, surprised in a very good way. Like if a woman is very beautiful, they say that we are dazzled by her beauty. Right? It's surprising. It's almost nice. Like, wow, she's so beautiful. Right? So here they're saying that her smile, her gentle smile, is something that dazzles people. Right? So we see that example here. Any other words, Maud, that were maybe a little bit different?
No.
What about this part right here, Maud, if you don't mind me asking? What does calling the shots mean?
Calling the shots, like let me think about it. It's
sure.
Her big brother takes responsibility instead of her.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is he making the decisions? Yeah, calling the shots means making the decisions, right? So this is even the second sentence in the article mentions her big brother, right? So it's actually very fascinating to me now that you mentioned that, because it seems like it's something that a lot of people in Thailand are maybe wondering about, right? So let's see then. So she says, in 2011, and about 10 weeks into her political career, she won a landslide victory to lead a country of 67 million people. Just months into her political career, she was criticized for her handling of Thailand's worst flooding crisis in more than 50 years. 2 years on, Yingluck Shinawatra says she has been making decisions based on her own experience and wants to be judged by her achievements. So, what about these 3 paragraphs? Maud, any questions?
I don't understand landslide victory. I know victory, but landslide victory, what does it mean?
Landslide victory is a victory that is so great that it's saying that nobody came even close to her in that election. She won by a landslide. She won with a huge majority.
Okay.
Yeah. Was this the case, Ahmad? Did she win by a huge majority?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah, CNN could be wrong. I mean, we don't know, but maybe this is something that they reported correctly, right? So, and what does she say about her power? She says, you have a lot of key stakeholders, Yingluck tells me, right? So you have to make sure the stakeholders are happy, right? What is a stakeholder?
People.
Yeah, somebody who has an interest in something, right? So, for example, if you have a business, right, you are a stakeholder in your business, right? If you're a teacher, you're a stakeholder in your students' success, right? So you have an interest in that. So she's saying you have a lot of key stakeholders, and you have to make sure that the stakeholders are happy. Now, who is she talking about? Who are the stakeholders for the government, right? I don't know, but this is something that she says directly, right? Maybe her stakeholder is her brother. We don't know. I mean, we have to decide in this case, right? What do you think? Do you think her brother is a key stakeholder?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. We'll see. We'll see what else she says. So she has raised the country's minimum wage, helped pass a massive loan bill to overhaul Thailand's transportation infrastructure, and also become the country's first female defense minister, a position she says she is uniquely qualified to handle because she is a woman, right? Males and females can do this role, she says, but females will be more concerned about the morale and the support and building teamwork, right? So this is her idea. Males and females can both be defense minister or prime minister, but females are more concerned about the morale and the support, and they're better at building teamwork, right? Do you agree with with what she's saying here, Maud, by any chance?
I don't think she has the moral and building teamwork.
Really?
Yeah, I think she doesn't do anything to show that she built teamwork for Thailand, because we have Thailand we have two teams. We fight each other. It's not good because it happened because of her brother, and I don't know why he want to I think he revenge Thailand a lot. Because in the past, former prime minister that had corruption a lot, and he overthrew. He will be silent. He will be quiet and live in the quiet way. But for her brother, he tried to persuade Thai people to fight each other to get him back and get powerful again.
So it's a very complicated situation, right? There are so many things. Her brother maybe is has such a big influence on her politics that some people might consider her to be just another example of her brother, right? And we don't know actually, but that's a really good point. Let's see what else they say. So, but more recently, right, protests have erupted in the nation's capital amid opposition to a proposed amnesty bill, right? As part of a push for unity in the country, the government proposed an amnesty bill which includes a controversial amendment offering a reprieve for any politically related offenses since January 1st, 2004, right? So is this the amnesty that you were talking about, Maud?
Yes.
So the situation is any politicians who made any mistakes after January 1st, 2004,
Mm-hmm.
they won't be in jail, right?
Yeah, and it included her brother as well.
Mm-hmm. So
Mm-hmm.
wow, that sounds like nepotism, right?
Yeah.
It sounds like she's helping her brother.
Mm-hmm. I think it was a big problem because her brother um, tried to in 2004 her brother fired many buildings in Thailand,
Mm-hmm.
and our uh, our country was so sad about it, and he created the rules or laws to support his business a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a corruption, and he tried to create uh, something that's like a help poor people. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can loan a lot of money to build your first house or buy the first car,
Mm-hmm.
but in the future, many people are poorer, more poor,
Mm-hmm.
because they has a lot of debt.
Yeah, there was really no way to. So what he didn't really guarantee any kind of financial security, right?
Uh-huh.
It
Yeah.
was just a way to maybe give people a false sense of wealth, right? Oh, now I have money for a house, now I have money
Mm-hmm.
for a car, but really nothing, no long-term solution, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, interesting. Wow, I didn't realize that this was happening, but this is really interesting stuff. Uh, so the public dissent, right? What does dissent mean in
Mm,
English, do you think, Maud?
I
The word
don't know.
dissent. Dissent is
Uh,
when. What do you
mhm.
think it means, right? It says the public dissent, which has seen thousands march through Bangkok streets, stems from the fact that the period specified in the bill includes the time her brother, former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, or Thaksin,
Mhm. Yeah,
uh,
Thaksin.
Thaksin Shinawatra was in power, right? So the public dissent, right, stems from the fact that the period specified in the bill includes the time her brother was in power. So what do you think dissent means?
Mm, controversial.
Yeah, right. Dissent is when somebody is angry at something,
Mhm.
right? So the public is angry because then thousands of people have marched through the streets. I'm sure you saw these protests, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so because of what we just said, right? The brother was in power, and this January 1st, 2004 was before her brother did many of the things that he did, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. It's this family connection where the Thai Prime Minister has been unable to bridge the deep political divide in her country, right?
Mhm.
So this family question, this nepotism that we're talking about, is the biggest controversy that is affecting her. Uh, Yingluck is the youngest sister of the charismatic and deeply polarizing former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, who led the country for 5 years before the military removed him from power in 2006. Right? Even though Thaksin remains in exile, critics say he is still ruling through his sister. Where is Thaksin now, Maud? Do you know?
Uh, where?
Is he in Asia somewhere, or did he come to the US? And do you know?
We don't know.
Hmm. Really?
Sometimes he said he was in Dubai, he was in Hong Kong, but we don't know actually.
Hmm. Yeah, interesting. But he was kicked out, right, by the military, they're saying.
Yeah.
So what happened when the military came to power?
Uh, he went to some country uh, to talk about politics, to make the relationship between countries, and the military goes to many channels to to announce to Thai people that they have power to
Mm-hmm.
uh, they will control the situation, and they don't want the Thaksin to come back
Uh-huh.
in this position.
And they actually call that a coup. They in English we call that a coup actually, mod. So let me actually somebody else I think might maybe have joined the class. Give me 1 second. I'm going to quickly write down this word. Hey Ken, how's it going?
Yes, I'm fine. How are you?
Good, good, good. So this word coup, mod is something that
Coup.
when we see the military comes and removes a leader, we call that a coup in English, right?
Coup.
So there was this
Coup.
coup. Yeah, there's a P, but the P is silent,
Oh,
right? So it's a coup, just a coup.
so cool.
Pronounced like coup. So this is what happened, right? So then this is very, very fascinating stuff. Let me go back to the article, and we're going to spend maybe just a few more minutes. Mon, and we'll come back and we'll do the discussion. So let's see what they say here. So there was a coup. The military came, right? Yingluck concedes she has a close relationship with her brother, but insists she has always been independent, even though her brother at one point called her his clone, right? Clone means the same kind of thinking and management style, she says. It doesn't mean reliance. In the last 2 years, Yingluck has sought to improve herself and her leadership. I think there is less criticism about this because if I'm relying on him, I don't think I could be so wise to handle the hard times, she tells me, right? The Thai Prime Minister is under scrutiny not only because of the shadow of her older brother, but for everything from her number of trips abroad to her fashion choices, right? So what are we saying here, Maud, and Ken also? Do you guys have any questions about these couple of paragraphs here? So her brother once did call her his clone, right? Is she his clone, Maud, or do you believe her when she says that it doesn't mean reliance, it just means the same kind of thinking and management style?
I think she's clone. She's his clone.
Really? You do think that? So you don't believe them you don't believe her when she says it doesn't mean reliance?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, interesting. And what about this last part then, Maud? I'm really interested to know, has her trips and her fashion choices, have those been criticized by the people in Thailand?
Um,
They're saying, for example, that she went on a lot of trips to different countries.
ah,
She spent a lot of money on her clothes. Is that true?
yes.
Really? Okay, wow. So
Because
CNN did answer this, did a good job on this article. Usually,
it is
yeah.
one of criticism, but it's just a little bit problem. It's a little problem if we compare with others.
Especially with the big idea of nepotism, right? So let's do one or two more things. Actually, we'll go up to. Okay, we'll read these two things then. Recently in Milan, she wore a Thai silk jacket that drew attention since it was stained by the floodwaters of 2011. It generated a media debate about whether it was appropriate for Thailand's prime minister to be seen wearing it. But Yingluck has also used the media to advance her own platform, including the launch of Smart Lady Thailand, a reality TV show out to empower young women. Right? Have you seen this show by any chance, Maud?
No, I haven't.
Smart Lady Thailand. Apparently, she's using it to, help the young women in Thailand. And then one last thing, guys. One last thing. I'm going to just talk about this very last part, right? Yingluck may never fully leave the shadow of her brother, let alone the scrutiny of her naysayers, but she appears to be a woman trying to make peace with her position, right? People expect you to run the country with sincerity and hard effort to deliver what we promise to the people, she says. Cue that dazzling smile, right? So the article kind of ends with this idea that even though there is so much controversy, right, and there are so many naysayers. What's a naysayer? Ken, what's a naysayer?
Naysayer says people say no.
Yeah, people
Criticize. Yeah,
people who
something.
are always criticizing something, exactly right. People who are saying, no, 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 she's not good. No, 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 this is not good. This is not right. You know, everything has something to do with no, right? And so she may never leave all these accusations that the naysayers or the Thai people, some of the Thai people are telling her, but she tells her country that you need sincerity and hard effort to deliver what we promise to the people, right? Are these empty words, Maud, or do you believe in her when she when she says this to her people?
No, I don't believe in her.
You don't believe in her? Come on, Maud. What did she do? I mean, no, I'm just joking, right? I do realize the problem, Maud, that this is something that is very controversial, right? What she's doing. So I have a question for you, Maud. I know I asked you a lot of questions, but the main one that I had was, do you think her becoming the first female prime minister, is this a new chapter for women in Thailand, or did it not really? For example, are young girls in Thailand, little girls, teenagers, are they now more empowered? Do they feel, oh, you know, one day I can also become a prime minister? Is there that feeling among young people?
No,
Oh wow.
because she can be our prime minister because her big brother. It's not because her ability. She she doesn't know anything about country or laws or something that can help our country getting better. It's like she's a clone or a shadow of her brother to get her brother right.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting for me that this woman, you know, she is, how old is she? She is, let me look at her Wikipedia. She's 46. So she's not that old, but she is, you know, I think the understanding is that she's always in a position, she's trying very hard to be in a good position with her country and with her government, right? Ken, what do you think about? Have you heard about the first prime minister of Thailand? She is the first woman prime minister of Thailand, and there's some debate. Have people in Japan been talking about this?
Not so vitally.
Uh-huh. Maybe just once in a while, or it maybe when it happened, it was in the news for just a brief amount of time, right?
Yes.
Yeah, interesting. Do you think, you know, Ken, for example, has Japan had a female prime minister? I don't think so, right?
No, not
Do
yet.
you do you think Japan will ever get will ever get a female prime minister?
I think, gender is not a matter nowadays, in Japan. That's why media didn't focus on gender of
Mm-hmm.
the new prime minister. But however, the city governor level, but maybe still women were chosen city governor, and prefecture governor, I'm not sure. But yeah, such kind of political leader are always men. So maybe we need other agenda. Yeah, maybe it's a high time to. It's not a matter of gender. It's matter of their political ability or such kind of thing. But Somewhat maybe society care about gender still, I guess, in
Uh-huh.
Japan.
Uh-huh. Absolutely, absolutely. And I think Maud, when it comes to gender, do you agree with Ken that it's not really a question of gender, it's a question of ability?
Yes. Yes, I agree.
Mm-hmm. And you know, I feel the same way, but in the United States right now, we are at a point where people are very excited about what will happen in the next election, which is why I'm focusing on the female part, because there are reports that Hillary Clinton will run for president, and oh my God, if Hillary runs, if she wins, then first we had an African American president, now we're going to have a female president. I mean, things will just it's just one revolution after another, right? We have so many different things happening that and I think the idea in the United States is if a woman becomes president, that will really be a new chapter for women in this country, right? It will really be a new way for girls to believe in themselves and believe in the possibilities, right? All of those kinds of things. So it's an amazing amount of it gives a lot of people hope. It gives a lot of people hope, you know. So but it seems like with this person, it's really not that case, Maud. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
it seems that if she was a male, then it wouldn't make a difference. She would still be her brother's sibling, right? It wouldn't matter. Do you think, Maud? One question about this is, do you think women face challenges in Thai society? I mean, if you could maybe how long is she going to be in power? How long will she remain prime minister?
I think 2 years.
2 more years?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
2 more years.
What's going to happen afterwards? Do people in Thailand talk about who will replace her or what will happen with her?
We think Thaksin will let his I don't know his daughter or I'm not sure, but in his family.
Uh-huh. Do you
we
think she
can.
will do you think she can get reelected? Can she win again?
I'm not sure because, like I said, we divided to be two part in Thailand, Thaksin side and the other side.
Uh-huh. Absolutely. I don't know. It's a difficult situation, and right now we don't really know where Thaksin is, and he is, you know, his sister is prime minister, and maybe he can come back, and maybe he won't come back. I mean, it seems like there's just a lot of crazy, you know, situations
Yeah.
happening right now. You know, there doesn't seem to be any real indication of what the future will hold. You know, it's one of the things I still feel like. I mean, I'm not really sure. In the case of Thailand, is there's. I mean, do the people have hope? Do the people feel like there's going to be change? What is the? If I were to walk in the streets of Bangkok right now, you know,
Yes.
has the economy improved, or are people feeling like there is a life is better now under Yingluck than under Thaksin or under the military? Has life improved for the common person? Besides politics, has life improved?
I'm not sure because economic is worse than usual right now or 2 or 3 years that this situation happened. Yeah, many tourists don't want to travel in Thailand because they they are afraid that we have political issues.
Mm-hmm.
But it's safe. I would tell you that it's safe in Thailand because we are peaceful, but just I don't know how long that we can uh, make this issue and maybe when Thaksin die.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's really awesome for me to hear that Thailand is safe because I never considered it to be an unsafe country, actually. I love the food. Just yesterday I had Thai food. Um,
Really?
I went to this restaurant with my friend. I'm in California right now, and there are
Mhm.
a lot of Thai restaurants here. And I went to a place called um, Thai Elephant Express, something like that. It was just a normal name, but they had amazing food. I had white rice, basic white rice, but
Uh-huh.
it was a fish curry. It was a very delicious kind of spicy fish curry.
Oh.
Not masaman or red curry. It was a different kind of curry. So I think a lot of foreigners are actually very hopeful about Thailand. I think it's a top tourist destination. I think still today. You know,
Mhm.
the average American doesn't know about Thailand's politics, or that they have a female prime minister, honestly. I was pretty surprised that CNN made this article because CNN focuses on stories like, some puppy was rescued in a tree in
Mhm.
California, they don't focus a lot on the real issues, at least the CNN inside the United States. So it's interesting for me to hear that, but I mean, Ken, I wanted to know your reaction. I mean, all this controversy, right? This woman's brother, who used to be prime minister, and Maud is from Thailand, and she's telling us that she doesn't really believe in what this woman is saying, right? About there's this idea that she is just following her brother. Her brother lives in exile. Her brother was kicked out and by a coup, can't come back. What do you think will happen to the people in Thailand? Just from you're a foreigner, I'm a foreigner. Maud knows the reality, right? But what's your take on it?
I think the merchant interface is not good. That gave foreign people or tourists to give a dangerous situation, and to go to Thailand, and it also gives a bad effect to the Thailand democracy. So because if this prime minister was elected by election, maybe merchants you know respect such facts. And
Mm-hmm.
if the Thai people dislike or this prime minister, they can choose other person by election.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
But
think that,
because those,
yeah,
oh, go ahead, Ken. I'm sorry.
sorry,
Go ahead.
sorry, that process is very important to the to keep democratic system and to impress foreign people. Thailand is a safe to go, but still many people go to Thailand. Actually, it's maybe one of the top tourist destination from Japan. It's very popular. Yes.
Yeah, I think the same thing, Maud. I think people really are not worried about safety in Thailand. Maybe some people are worried about. Um, I've heard reports about human trafficking. That Bangkok is kind of a market for a lot of the sex trade. That's something that we hear in the United States, that Bangkok is kind of, if you want nightlife, you go to Bangkok. It has this negative connotation. No, really, and I mean, it
Mhm.
makes it
Mhm.
makes me sad to say that because I think there are so many other great things about Thailand that the average American doesn't know about. You know, the average
Yeah.
American is thinking about nightlife when they think of Bangkok, they think of
Mhm.
nightlife. They think of parties and discos and nightclubs and things like that, right?
Mhm.
Really, they don't have any idea about the politics or the culture. They just know about the food. Maybe they
Mhm.
know two things. They know the nightclubs and they know the food. That's it.
Mm.
The
Okay.
the deeper culture, the history of the country, the fact that it's a kingdom, a lot of
Mhm.
rich culture, that stuff they have no idea about.
Mm.
So as a tourist destination, I agree with Ken. It's very popular, even from the United States. People go.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good to
especially
know.
Phuket in the south, especially for the beaches outside of Bangkok. People love Phuket, or Phuket, I think is how
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
pronounce it, right? People really love
Yeah.
it. They are very excited to go on vacation to Thailand and things like that. Young men, of course, they go for the nightlife, or that's their idea. Families and other people, they go to Phuket. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, but I don't know, Maud. I mean, I feel bad because I don't have as much of an idea as maybe you do, but I guess we just have to wait and see what happens to Thailand's government over the next few years. I'll be taking a closer look now that I
Yeah.
know now that I know about Yingluck, you know.
Yeah, like we divide our country to be poor people will choose Thaksin because they got a lot of benefits from him, and the educated people will choose another side.
That's the idea.
Yeah, one thing that we decided that Yingluck has no ability for this position, because when she gives the speech, both of Thai and English, she always talks in the wrong way. She talks in appropriate Thai, and she will has a paper of her statement, but when someone wrote for her thank you and 3 times, she had to say thank you, thank you, thank you, but she said thank you 3 times and everybody laughed.
Oh wow, it's crazy. It's crazy. So she has these interesting kind of behaviors that people make fun of. It seems like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting,
Embarrassing.
interesting ideas from Yingluck here. This interesting behavior patterns. But yeah, guys, I don't know. It's always fascinating. Sometimes I listen to these conversations and I like a lot. I like what I hear, but at the same time I feel suspicious of the future. You know, I feel like, oh, maybe things will get better, but maybe it won't. You know, we really can't tell for some of these things. But in any case, guys, any questions, guys? So Ahmad, thank you for joining, and also Ken for joining. You know, we're looking at the construction of the contractions, right? Making words smaller, or the idea of these of the famous first female prime minister, who maybe is not so famous. There's a lot of criticism. There's a shadow hanging over her. Any questions, guys? Or anything else you guys wanted to talk about or ask or ask each other? You know, Ken, if you wanted to ask Ahmad anything or to discuss. Are we okay then? Guys, did you guys like the class? Ahmad, did you like it?
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully it was interesting. I learned a lot because I had no idea really what was happening on the ground, and I was surprised that, you know, CNN even published something like this. So it was good to know. Ken, any questions from you?
No.
Makes sense. Yeah. Good luck. You know, good luck, Yingluck. I mean, I don't know what to say about her. You know, so hopefully things work out well. But anyway, guys, I have classes again tomorrow and at this time every night. So if you guys are free, you're more than welcome to join. And I'll see you guys soon then.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank
awesome,
you.
guys.
Thank you,
Take care,
Ken.
guys.
Thank you, teacher.
Take care, Ahmad. Take care, Ken. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. For anyone. And sometimes that we don't want to, we want her to respect each other, to respect other students. She blocked me once, and I couldn't join that class because I couldn't hear anything for anyone, and I have to quit that class early than I want to be. Yeah, and yeah, we complain about it to Colingo, but they said that we should raise this problem to teacher in the class and mention about it, but we think it's so annoying.
It's difficult, right? Sometimes it's difficult. Definitely, Maud, if you feel that way in terms of something that happens in one of my classes, please do let me know. I think that's very important that we should. Everybody in class deserves a chance to speak, right? Nobody should be taking up all the time or preventing. Hey, Maud, how's it going?
Hi. I'm fine. How's it going?
I'm doing well, thank you. Good to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you.
How's Eka? I don't see him anymore.
Oh, he. I think he was fighting with Heidi, and he doesn't like her, and he quit learning
Oh.
on Kalinga.
Oh, really? I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
If there's any way I can help him, though, let me know, because you're still in these classes. So.
It's kind of problem about muting microphone.
others from sharing their opinions. Absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
So if that happens in my classes, please don't hesitate. Let me know. If you have to message me, if you have to Facebook message me after, or even tell me after the class, whatever, it's not a problem for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah. In any case, so it seems like today, right now, it's a little bit of a lull in terms of attendance. When we use the word lull in English, in American English, actually, more so. Maud, do you know what lull means? If I say there's a lull right now.
Low.
Uh-huh.
Low attendance.
Yeah, exactly right. A lull is a decrease in something. So
Yeah.
it seems we have a lull in the number of students who are joining at this time. So if you don't mind, Maud, let's get started. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So we are going to today actually be looking at contractions. Contractions in English are constructions that are abbreviated. We have a lot of times in English when we can make bigger words, bigger phrases of two words, let's say, into a one-word contraction, right? And then in the second part, we are going to talk about something that is very appropriate for you, Thailand's first female prime minister. I personally don't know as much about the story as I would like, so I think it's a great article for you to share your ideas because, how is this person